Yo, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. My name is Jaymes Howell, and right there next to me, my legendary co-host, Chase Riley. Chase Riley, how you doing tonight? Oh, you're muted, buddy. You're muted.
Gets me every time, man. Every time.
No worries. How you doing tonight, my man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What a game.
Yeah.
Absolute banger that we saw. And then, you got to excuse me a little bit. My voice is a little raspy. I've got a little bit of a cough. We did have the pleasure of getting to go to the game. Thanks to my mother-in-law, April Rome. So I really appreciate that. That was her Christmas gift to me. And of course I took my buddy here, and man, what a game of a lifetime to be at.
Yeah, man. I can't thank you enough, man. That was awesome. Like I told you, man, I was sitting at the computer watching the Bucks and the Rams game, and in my undies, and you called and you were like, "Hey, man, you want to go?" I was like, "Say less."
Yeah. So I see a couple people in chat. It's not popping up here on my studio here, but I do see you. I do see you in here. Let me get to it. Connie Byatt, aka Mama Bear, in the house. Oh boy, I see you're in the mood tonight. I can see it in your face. Yes, Mama Bear, I am in the mood. It is a great day to be a member of Chiefs Kingdom. I'll tell you that right now. Daniel Hibden, KC, let's go. Donnie Ray Craven, let's go. What's up, my guys? Corey, A.K. Richardson, a.k.a. my little brother. What's up, my man? Glad to see you here in the chat. Appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week like you do. Hey, take a quick moment, hit that like button, hit that follow button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. No matter what platform you're on, make sure that you catch the Jaymes Howell Chiefs Talk each and every single week. Man, I feel it, man. This is going to be a high energy podcast. It was a great game. Andy Reid, we got into a tough situation. Andy Reid told Patrick Mahomes right before he went out. He said, when things get grim, be the Grim Reaper. And that's exactly what he did. Man. He went out there and took control of the game. Not just once, but multiple times, all within that last quarter of the game. We'll get into that. But speaking of Grim Reaper, I got a good friend of mine named Rebecca. She is selling these shirts right here. If you are interested in buying one of these shirts, go talk to her. I will get her link. Let me see here. See if this works. Boom. Pop it in there like that. I don't know why we're not seeing the chat pop up on the.
Well, because I think because of your of the way your profile is set up. But yeah, that's.
I don't know. Technical difficulties. We did move over to a new streaming platform, Restream.io. So we are trying to get it to where we can get the chat up here. Boom, like that. But for tonight, I have some of the chat here. And Chase, you're just going to have to pull up yours, and we're going to have to collaborate on it to get through the night. Don Marie, Canada, I see you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Hey, look. Bills go down. Let me ask you this question. Look. Buffalo Bills, they go down. Josh Allen is absolutely surgical with it, right? They go down the field. They use up the last basically minute of the game, and they score that last touchdown, leaving just 13 seconds on the clock. What's going through your mind?
My heart sank. I got that feeling in the pit of my stomach, and I watched two rows of people get up and file out, and Patrick Mahomes is magical. Mahomes magic, but 13 seconds,
Oh man, and you felt it throughout the whole stadium. It was just,
yeah.
I mean, other than the I want to say the few Bills fans that were there, but they were pretty plentiful. There was quite a few Bills fans there, but other than those Bills fans, I mean, it was just heartbreaking throughout the whole stadium. The whole stadium was just heartbroken. It was quiet as can be. Richmond Webb, what's up, my guy? How are you? He says, look, my YouTube's coming through.
Yep, it's just.
He says, what's up, my brothers? Hell of a game on Sunday. One of the best games I have ever seen. Congratulations. And you're absolutely right about that. And I would almost go as far as to say that is the best game ever to be played in at least Arrowhead Stadium. If not, maybe in the NFL. I don't have recollection of some of the older games, but I can't think of a game that was better. Am I saying that if I'm on the losing side of things? It was still a damn good game either way. So, probably. What's up with the gray skull cap? I'm in my in the basement here, and
it's a little chilly.
It's kind of cold, and that's where my studio's at. And I have no hair, and keep it a little, hoodie. Yep. So 13 seconds of game time later, we're in position to tie the game, or we've tied the game. We're going into overtime. What's your thoughts then?
That Patrick, or that the Chiefs need to win the coin toss, because our offense was hitting on all cylinders, and if we won the coin toss, I was very confident that they were going to go down there and score a touchdown.
Hey guys, we're going to go ahead and throw the chat up here and see if it's going to work. If you want to join into the chat on the screen, jump over to my YouTube. Go jump over to my YouTube real quick. It's just Jaymes Howell Sports. You can catch the live there. And from what I understand, any chat that comes in from YouTube from this point on should pop up on the screen.
Yep. If you go to James's YouTube or James's Twitter or my CR Media page on Facebook, the chat will show up. The reason why is because it's being streamed to James's personal Facebook profile, and it's only it's only a read only. It's not showing up. So,
and there they are. It is working. It is working correctly.
Yeah.
Like he said,
all of it will work except for your Facebook ones, because it's to your personal page.
Yeah, because I messed up. So yeah. Anyways, like I said, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Go to CR Media. Check out his page. Go to Jaymes Howell Sports. Check out my group there. It's a little private group. You can catch all my content that's going to be coming from my website at jameshowellsports.com. Let's talk about the NFL. Bucks and Rams. So in a game that seemed like it was almost going to be a blowout, it ended up being a lot closer than I anticipated it to be. So what I'm curious from you is this kind of how you saw things? Did you predict the Rams? I didn't catch it on your video. Did you predict the Rams?
I did predict the Rams. I went with the Rams, and it was I think I had the Rams by 10 points. I don't have my score predictions with me. I had them written down, but I had them up in my office. But I think I had the Rams by 10 points. And I I thought that the Rams would be able to pick or the defense apart a little bit because, like I said, the Buccaneers were banged up. They lost their starting right tackle. So I expected Von Miller and Aaron Donald to eat. And, it was, I told you when I picked you up Sunday and we headed to the game, I left the house and the score was 20-3.
Yeah.
And then we get to the stadium, we get all situated in, and it's a tied game. And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, Tom Brady showed up, for a second. He tried to do some Tom Brady things,
Yeah. And so he was about to pull it off. And, no tomato. So
I got to be honest with you, man. I'm really digging the hip hop background. I'm really jamming with it, bro.
Yeah, you got the beanie to go along with it.
Hey, I got the flow to go along with it as well. Don't get it twisted. That's for another time.
Yeah.
Bucks and the Rams. Okay, so I was basically in the same boat. I thought that the Bucks would, or that the Rams would easily win this game. But like I said, Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and he's going to try to get back into it. He's going to figure a way to at least make it close and have a chance at winning it. Unfortunately, he couldn't get it going early, and so that early game struggle really came to bite him later on in the fourth quarter. But so Rams go on, and then on the other side of things, we have the 49ers versus the Packers. And this one, to me, was a shocker. I know that the 49ers have been the hot team. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, of course, George Kittle. And to me, the difference maker was the quarterback. And Jimmy Garoppolo is just not that guy. But dang, their defense showed up big. 49ers defense showed up big. And just, I don't know what it is about Aaron Rodgers, but he's the MVP almost every year. He's in contention at least. And then he just doesn't show up in the postseason, and he just can't. I mean, that one's on him. He's got the weapons there. Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb, Aaron Jones, special teams. Yeah, that's a big issue for Green Bay. And special teams are a lot of times they're slept on. Not very many people talk about the special teams. There he is. Yo, let's go. Thanks for coming on over to YouTube, Donnie. Appreciate you joining in. If you guys are tuning in on maybe a Facebook or a Twitter, that's my Facebook. Go on over to my YouTube and check it out there. You can join the chat on screen. Chase, your camera's like in and out. Were you trying to say something?
I'm having technical difficulties, my guy.
Okay. Well, that's okay. I like to talk. I'll just keep talking until you're ready. So it was really a shock for me to see the 49ers, upset the Packers. I just thought that that Cinderella story that they had within there, the Packers were just too good to be beat by this caliber of a team, and I clearly underestimated them. So kudos to the 49ers. Little news around the NFL and also Chiefs related. Chiefs executive Ryan Poles, he got hired on as the Chicago Bears general manager, which that's going to play a factor into future comp picks. And, we could get maybe a third or a fourth for that. And then, I'm not quite sure how the formula, I don't think anyone's quite sure how the formula works on that, but, we should get some consideration for that. And then Sean Payton decided that he is going to call it quits after this last season that he just played. He is no longer going to be a coach. He's going to give it up. It doesn't have it in him anymore. And what a great career. What a great career that Sean Payton had as a coach there. His combination of him and Drew Brees, and then, you know, they've always had an explosive offense. They've had many runs at Super Bowls. They've had a winning record over his time there. So, you know, Sean Payton was a great coach. In other news, I've got Tom Brady is questionable. He's, you know, this is for real one of the most, well, I would say the most, but it's one of the first times we've heard that, or even question, is Tom Brady really done? Is he going to be, is this it? Is this his last year? And I'm not sure if Tom Brady's going to make it back next year. He made a statement along the lines of he had to think of his wife and kids rather than just himself, which is noble. But that passion and drive still burns hot within him. He will come back. I mean, he will come back if that's still there. Donnie said thought AR was the best till he couldn't, but up a TD. Who are you talking about, brother? I'm not sure. A little clarification on that. And then, okay, so then in other Chiefs news, Josh Gordon, who was recently waived by Kansas City. And my initial reaction to that was kind of like, okay, that's the end of the Josh Gordon experiment. And then we got news that, you know, Kansas City was heavily interested in re-signing Josh Gordon if he went through waivers, which he did, and they re-signed Josh Gordon to the practice squad. So I'm actually pretty excited to see Josh Gordon get a full offseason with the organization. And, you know, being able to access the workout facilities and really get into good football shape, learn the offense, have a good off season to learn it. I know he's had all season, and, you know, it's just when you go into the off season, you don't have to worry about daily or weekly game planning, and, you know, going to the film room and then going to practice and then, you know, doing all these things that you have to do week in and week out throughout the season. You don't get as much time. So when you go into the off season, you get extra time to really get those things and some of those intricacies. And, you know, and I'm sure that we'll see, you know, sightings of Josh Gordon working out with Mahomes in Texas or something like that. Aaron Rodgers, of course. Are you back in it? Are you in it to win it or what?
I hope so, man. Gosh, technology.
Right. Man, my voice was I'm getting a little dry. I was talking so much.
Man, my technology is wonderful when it works, my brother.
Yeah. It's dreadful when it doesn't. It's the biggest headache in the world.
Yeah.
Thought Aaron Rodgers was the best till he couldn't put up a TD. Yeah, I mean, it just, when it comes to those moments, man, like we seen it in the Chiefs game. Patrick Mahomes has that it factor of I'm not gonna let us lose, you know, and we've seen it several times throughout the especially the last quarter, and sometimes Aaron Rodgers has that, and sometimes he doesn't, and I guess that goes for any quarterback, but you know, it's about how consistent can you get. So yeah, you know, it's great that you're the mid or the regular season MVP. Enjoy watching the Super Bowl on your couch. Sure enough. Let's see here, bro. Okay, so did you have anything you wanted to say about Sean Payton?
No, I mean, a lot of people are questioning, you know, like what's his next venture. I think it's pretty clear. News broke Sunday that Troy Aikman has been offered a fat ass deal by Amazon, because Amazon is going to start doing their own presentation of NFL games, I guess, and they're pursuing Troy Aikman for that. So Fox is pursuing Sean Payton to replace Troy Aikman as Joe Buck's co-commentator for the Fox NFL games. So
that might be interesting, because then you get that perspective. Okay, so you have the situation of like Tony Romo, and you get the perspective of like a former quarterback, and not just a former quarterback, but more recently, not like a Terry Bradshaw or but a more recent quarterback who's been in the league within the past 20 years and who knows the game a little bit better. Well, Sean Payton is a head coach, and so now we're getting into the mind of a head coach.
Exactly.
Who's a really head coach.
Yeah, he was a really good head coach, but a lot of people are speculating, like, hey, what is he looking at? Is he looking to take this deal with Fox? I think that's what it is. I think after 16 years with the Saints, I think that that job seems appealing. It's an easy job. You sit back, you relax in the booth, and granted, you got to sit next to Joe Buck, but I mean, it's not too hard of a job.
I'd take that job.
Yeah. There's talk that he could be pursued by Dallas. I don't think Dallas is ready to move on from Mike McCarthy. I think we touched on that. I think Jerry Jones isn't ready to admit that he was wrong on that hire. I think Jerry's going to blame that Cowboys loss on something else other than the coaching, and I think Mike McCarthy's going to stay. But it's very interesting to see what Sean Payton will do next. So,
yeah. So, what's your thoughts on the Josh Gordon situation? So we waive him, and then of course we bring him back. Like I was saying earlier, bring him back to the practice squad. What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on the Josh Gordon thing are going to be the exact same as the defensive back from Oakland that we signed to a future reserve contract.
From the Raiders.
Yeah, the guy from the Raiders. I think that they're going to take a look in training camp and see how Josh progresses, and and go from there. Because
Arnett.
Arnett. That's right.
Damon Arnett. Yeah,
and
for anyone watching that doesn't know who he is, he's a cornerback we just got from the Raiders, and he was released by the Raiders because he was caught on film with a weapon, a gun, and threatening to kill somebody.
Yeah, he went on Facebook Live waving it around and threatened to kill somebody, and just real stupid. But we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, and the thing about that is, Brett Veach is notorious for these little projects that he brings in. DeAndre Baker, Mike Hughes, these were some of these guys. And some of them have paid off, some of them haven't. But my frustration about this is, so from what my understanding is, when we released Kareem Hunt, it was because he lied to the organization. And it wasn't necessarily because he lied to the organization, but it was because he didn't really tell the whole truth. And maybe I'm off on that, or that's just how I kind of understood that situation. But
that's exactly the word that got out was the Chiefs found out about it shortly after it happened, and they asked Kareem Hunt about it, and Kareem Hunt said it was no big deal, that it was handled, and that it was nothing to worry about. And then the video comes out, and they called Kareem back and they said, "Hey, listen, we asked you about it. We gave you an opportunity to get out in front of it so we could nip this in the bud, and you lied. So now we've got to cover our tracks, and we have to release you." And that's what that was. Everybody knows what he was released from the Raiders from. And this is just Brett Veach saying, "Hey, this is a first-round draft pick from 3 years ago." And Brett Veach has shown a track record the past couple of seasons of picking up teams' former first and second round picks that didn't work, and they turn out to earn a spot on this roster.
I mean, the skill level is there.
Yeah,
I can't see, how it's okay to justify this. Like, how is it okay to say, "No, Kareem Hunt, you're off the team because we couldn't get out in front of this and take care of it, probably from a business aspect of things,
Yeah.
And now this guy comes on our team, and he's out here threatening to kill people live on Facebook. How is this acceptable? Where I don't make it make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying, and like I said, the Chiefs asked Kareem Hunt. They asked him about it. They gave him an opportunity to be honest and upfront about it. He wasn't, and I don't know what would have happened if Kareem Hunt would have told them. Maybe they could have worked something out to where he faced a suspension and the team kept him and whatnot. But showing that dishonesty and breaking that level of trust with the team, showed Veach and showed Reed that they couldn't trust him.
Right.
This kid probably was under the influence of drugs or alcohol when you'd have to be medicated in some way, shape, or form to jump on live and do something stupid like that. So, I'm sure there's things that are going to have to get worked out. He may not make the team. He may be released before June or July. We have no idea, but I think that it's a little bit of a different situation with the Kareem Hunt thing and the Arnett thing. So, but if
I just over to my Facebook, I got a couple comments here that's not popping up, and if you guys want to join over on the YouTube, go to Jaymes Howell Sports on YouTube, and you can find us there, and you can join in the conversation on the screen. Daniel Hibden says maybe Big Ben should go into talk host for the NFL, be a broadcaster for the NFL. Aaron Curtis says Chase is a star player, can't guard him. Worried about Mike Hughes, DeAndre Baker. Dan Worley, what's going on, buddy? How are you doing tonight? Thank you for tuning in tonight. Appreciate you. Hey, if you guys haven't already, make sure that you hit that like button, that share button, that subscribe button, most importantly, that follow button, so you never miss another episode of Jaymes Howell Chiefs Talk. Me and my legendary co-host down underneath me here every week. We got all your Chiefs information. We kick it here. We just here to hang out with you, talk about Chiefs football, man. We love it. Free content. You never have to pay a dime, but I do ask you, just please hit that like button. Let's see. Let me see these other ones here. Oh man, I don't know why Facebook's only showing me subscribe button. 49 special teams showed up. And, putting that pressure on our kicker to put us into overtime was nerve-wracking. Oh yeah, Harrison Butker, he's on my shit list this week. I know he made the winning or the tying kick or whatever. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't even get there. That was one hell of an offensive game. Daniel says, yeah, you're absolutely right. Might change. He gets away from that thing. Yep. All right, I think we're mostly caught up here on our comment section. This is the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. So there was the fan. Did you see the fan? Did we all see the fan? I didn't catch it on the broadcast. I don't know if it was on the broadcast, but there was the fan, right, that jumps onto the field. We probably all heard stories about it. He was bet $1,000 to run out onto the field, and he says something about, well, and spend a night in the drunk tank. and then,
I think my man needs to spend a couple nights in the drunk tank.
He was so glazed over. It was,
yeah.
That's mostly where he needed to be. He probably would have. At least he got a sober ride.
Yeah.
And so
he got derailed by Stephon Diggs.
Oh man, just leveled, just leveled by Stephon Diggs, and that's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
That's just the sheer force alone. But then you add the pads and everything into it.
Yeah, but my man wasn't feeling it at all because he got up and he's like throwing his legs in the air, and he's kicking his shoes off. His shoes went flying.
Oh yeah, bro. He's having the time of his life. He knows he just got $1,000. Well, I mean, enjoy spending that on legal fees.
Yeah, I wonder if his friend actually paid on the $1,000.
Oh, bro, you got to. If you bet me $1,000,
yeah,
and then I would do that, and then I go do it. Oh, you got to. You got to pay up. Either that or it's right on site.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that, but yeah, that was another little highlight to the game on top of the amazing game it was. And then the Nelly concert was pretty cool as well, which we happened to be just right there. I want to talk about the defense a little bit. I think the defense struggled a little bit. This is an incredibly talented Bills offense. Josh Allen, he is amazing. And kudos to this team because they went toe for toe, and it could have went. It was a coin flip away.
Yeah.
I'm not confident at all that this defense stops them if they win that coin toss.
Yeah. The coin toss was very clutch for Kansas City. Like I said, I was confident with the way we were playing that if we won that coin toss, they were going to go down and score a touchdown, not a field goal, because just the last 10 minutes of that game was just amazing as far as points go, and the way the Chiefs offense was clicking. I mean, the 13-second drive, everything that was happening in the drive before the 13-second drive, before the Bills had it and scored at the last. The Chiefs were just on offense. They were firing on all cylinders, and 13 seconds. And so when that happened, and we won the coin toss, all those funny feelings in my stomach were gone. I was like, Mahomes is going to take this. It's over. Yeah.
Dan Worley says both defenses went on vacation in the last 2 minutes. And, on top of that, I think there was a lot of questionable coaching calls on both sides, Buffalo and on the Kansas City side. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. It was a shootout. Like, it's just like the dam had broke, and it was – you get a touchdown, and you get a touchdown, and you get a touchdown. Except for the Bills, it was all Gabriel Davis. He got all the touchdowns.
Yep.
So, yeah, the defense, I thought that they struggled. Okay, so the defensive line looks pretty decent. Really, it's the secondary. So Tyrann Mathieu goes out due to concussion. And I seen Richmond Webb. He came on here. He was asking. He said, "I hope Tyrann it ends up, all right because of this concussion, and of course we hope the same thing. Now, we haven't really given much of an injury update since the game, but Tyrann Mathieu missed the game due to a concussion. Charvarius Ward got a little bit banged up for a while. I know he came back in, but he got a little banged up too. Without Tyrann Mathieu in or on the field, this secondary was just flat bad. It was not good. It was not good. There was tons of communication issues, and it was just not. It was not good. We had Daniel Sorensen out there for 92% of the snaps, lined up next to Juan Thornhill. And if you remember the beginning of the season at all, it just makes me like it almost made me puke in my mouth just a little bit. Just saying that it is nauseating, knowing that Dan Sorensen is out there for 92% of the snaps. And this is like a good news, bad news situation for the secondary. Bad news is you guys weren't very good. You kind of stunk it up. The good news is this is probably the most potent offense you'll see for the rest of the way. And I know there's Jamal Chase and Joe Burrow and T. Higgins and whatever coming up, and they've got a pretty good offense. They're not the Bills. Cincinnati's not the Bills. Joe Burrow, he might be, but he hasn't proven to be Josh Allen. And Josh Allen, I don't think he's as good as Josh Allen. So this is the most potent. The good news is this is the most potent offense that we're going to see the rest of the way. And we took care of it. We handled business. What was your thought? Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I tried looking today. I know Tyrann Mathieu tweeted something out about him being good. So hopefully everything's all good there. Because as far as Dan Sorensen goes, we've come to a collective agreement on this show that Dan Sorensen has no business being in the secondary for 90% of the snaps. And so we've got to have him back. Got to have that depth at defensive back, because Cincinnati's gonna try and do the same thing they did to us last time, and they're gonna try and beat us over the top with Jamar Chase.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And they're gonna have to figure out a way. And other than the coverage, it was miscommunications all over the place. But they're gonna have to figure out a way to help over the top on Jamar Chase. You cannot just sit there and cover him man to man all day long. He's gonna do the same. Now, are they gonna get some of the same ticky-tack penalties that they got last time? Maybe, but you can't play like that. You don't play well if the refs call it this way or that way, man. You just play to win. You play to be better than the guy across from you.
You play to win the game.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah, I expected it to be a different game plan. I really did like the game plan going into this game. I thought Steve Spagnuolo created a pretty good game plan. If you look at their playmakers, Devin Singletary, he had 2.6 yards per carry, was only held 10 carries, 26 yards. Emmanuel Sanders, 1 for 16. Stephon Diggs, 3 receptions for only 7 yards. I mean, it was clear that Dawson Knox, 2 receptions for 9 yards. They came out and they took out some of these guys. They the game. And okay, they got 2 receptions, but that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. And so I thought that they had a pretty good game plan. So I will give Steve Spagnuolo some credit there, mainly because I'm going to bash on him here in a little bit. So Gabriel Davis has a career day. So you might ask, who is Gabriel Davis? I asked the same thing. because he's got a total of 500 yards on the season, and 200 of it came from this game. So he ends up having 200 plus yards, 4 TD. Josh Allen absolutely torches this defense. They are not able to play any sort of next man up football when it came to the secondary. Armani Watts was not good. But the good news is we did see a heavier dose of Willie Gay Jr. and Nick Bolton and less of Anthony Hitchens and Ben Neiman. So I think we're starting to see the transition, and we've seen it slowly but surely throughout the whole season, but we've seen this transition to where Gay and Bolton are the guys.
Yeah, and as they should be. Hitchens is good, coming in a little bit. In my honest opinion, it needs to be those three. Hitchens needs to be in the middle. Bolton needs to be on the right. Gay needs to be on the left. That's how it should be. There's no reason to cycle in Dory and Daniel when the other two need to be on the field, as far as Gay and Bolton go, because for whatever reason, Hitchens has been good for us, and Spagnuolo is going to go with Hitchens. Unless Hitchens needs to come out, cycle in somebody else, Spagnuolo is going with Hitchens. Fine. But the other two, as far as Willie Gay Jr. and Nick Bolton go, they need to be on the field. And the only way Dorian Daniel or Ben Neiman come in the damn game is if one of them needs to come out. That's it.
Yeah, for a breather or whatever it might be. And in the nickel package, where there's only 2 linebackers on the field, it's Gay and Bolton. It's no longer Anthony Hitchens. And I think we see, so his contract is top heavy. He's getting paid a lot.
Extremely top heavy.
And so, I think we're starting to see this transition to allow these guys to take over, because they are the future of this team. And they're proving that they can handle the workload. So, when it's 3 linebackers on the field, it's Gay, Bolton, and Hitchens. And when it's only 2, it needs to be just Bolton and Willie Gay Jr. And I can see, of course, rotating guys in. Steve Spagnuolo is a big rotation guy. He likes to keep his guys fresh, and and that's good. It's just good, throughout the duration of the whole game. It's good to keep those guys fresh. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But we shouldn't have, these guys playing more than like 25% of the snaps.
Yeah.
It needs to be heavily in favor of the new guys.
The guys that are performing well. I'll be honest with you. The argument was Trevon Diggs for Defensive Rookie of the Year. If Nick Bolton played as many snaps as Anthony Hitchens did, I don't think there would be an argument. I don't. Yeah. I think Nick Bolton wins Defensive Rookie of the Year hands down. And I think the only reason that we're not having that discussion is because Anthony Hitchens. And that's ridiculous. So
yeah, well, and I wouldn't even blame Anthony. It's really because Steve Spagnuolo. And it's his stubbornness that he has at times. He has shown the ability to adapt and change, but he has shown that he is stubborn too.
Yeah,
you cannot deny that whatsoever. So defensive line was pretty solid. Once again, I believe we had 2 sacks on the day. Yeah, and then as far as the run game goes, like I mentioned earlier, Devin Singletary, 10 rushes, 26 yards, 2.6. He had a TD, but who didn't have a TD in this game?
Agreed.
So, Now, Josh Allen, the counter argument to that, of course, is Josh Allen tore it up on the ground, 68 yards on the ground for him. That's hard. That's different to protect against a running quarterback, because then the numbers are even. Like usually, you're one man down because you hand the ball off and then the quarterback's out of the play. But when the quarterback's running it, then you've got an extra blocker there. That your running back is an extra blocker. And so it's hard to defend against a running quarterback. And Josh Allen, I know he's not a Lamar Jackson, but he's mobile and he's big and he's strong. He, like I said during the game, he reminds me of a young Ben Roethlisberger with a better arm. He's mobile, he's hard to take down, and he's very athletic, and he's strong and fast, and he's got all these attributes that play to his advantage. We got 68 yards. I thought we did a pretty good job of holding it too. So the defensive line, linebackers, I had to grade them out, like an A minus maybe. I thought they did a really, really phenomenal secondary in D. Yeah, I was not impressed with the secondary.
Yeah, the bottom line is Tyrann Mathieu is the as far as the secondary goes, Tyrann Mathieu is he's the guy back there. And with him out of that game, everybody else fell apart. Nobody stepped up into that leadership position with Mathieu gone to say, hey, this is what needs to happen. Nobody was out there with the experience to look and say, hey, get over there, do this, etc. The things that Mathieu does. We can knock on
that last play, that last touchdown that the Bills scored. You've seen all kinds of confusion during that play.
Yeah,
they were, and they're trying to figure out where they need to be. That's what Tyrann Mathieu does.
Exactly.
Other than the plays that he makes, that's what he brings to the table, and I also think that's why it's so important that we extend him in this offseason.
Agreed.
Let's see here, brother. So, I said I was going to talk about Spags, and my gripe with Spags is, and mind you, for anyone new watching this show, I've always been a big, supporter of Spags. Mid-season, I gave him team MVP, because he had done such a great job turning this defense around. I said it was Steve Spagnuolo that gets team if I could talk, team MVP. But I didn't agree with what happened on that last play, and it really kind of bugged me. Chris Jones is nowhere to be found on that last play. He's not in the game, and I don't understand why. This is probably the biggest play of the whole season. Get Chris Jones out there on the field. Call a timeout. Your defense is already in disarray. There's only 20 seconds left on the clock. Call a timeout. Get your guys right. I thought that was extremely, extremely mismanaged on Steve Spagnuolo's part. But that's just one little issue in a sea of great moments, throughout the game. I thought he did in other areas. I thought he did well in game planning and, rotational and in other areas. That really grinded my gears.
Yeah, well, and my question to that is, if he'd have called that timeout, would and they still score, does that timeout affect those 13 seconds?
It shouldn't. I mean, we had 3, so we called one, we called 2 right there.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little questionable that Andy Reid didn't call at least one timeout in that drive. I mean, how do you hold 3 timeouts and only leave yourself 13 seconds. You can't even use all 3 of them in 13 seconds. So, that was another little thing for me. But yeah, I thought, in that moment, it was big enough to where you need to get your best player on defense. You need to get him out there on the field. And I know, like, Rob Wilson had kind of hit on it a couple weeks ago. This defense, if Chris Jones doesn't perform well and he's not showing up, the defense will tend to struggle a little bit. But if he plays out and he's playing up to his potential, the defense tends to excel. So it's just not acceptable to not even have him on the field in that moment.
Yeah.
Okay. It worked out. All right, my man. So we're going to take a little break. We are coming right up onto the hour mark. We're going to take a break. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe button, follow button, whatever platform you're on. Make sure that you never miss an episode of Jaymes Howell Chiefs Talk. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we're still going to talk about the offense, and then we're going to look at the AFC Championship game, the NFC Championship game just a little bit, and maybe see who we think is going to win. Probably talk about a couple other things, maybe the overtime rule, possibly the overtime rule, So don't go anywhere. We'll be back here soon, and we will go on break as soon as I get the break video loaded in, because that, it slipped my mind. There we are. Catch you guys here in a minute. What's going on, guys? Jaymes Howell here. Look, if you enjoyed this content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And more importantly, make sure that you smash that notification bell. That way you'll never miss any content from Jaymes Howell Chiefs Talk. Also, while you're at it, go to Jaymes Howell Chiefs Talk on Facebook as well as on Twitter. You can find the links for those in the description. Until next time, once again, stay legendary, guys. Oh, snap. There we are. What's going on, guys? Welcome back from break. This is Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. My name is Jaymes Howell. Right underneath me is my legendary co-host. Hey, bro, I really like being able to say right underneath me instead of having to go left or right.
Yeah, because now I can just point up instead of getting it wrong.
Anyways, my legendary co-host Chase Riley. Look, before we were going on break, dang, there was something I was gonna say. All right, we'll just move on to the offense. That's the most exciting part. I'm super excited to talk about this part. Mahomes is the absolute Grim Reaper. I've never seen anyone better. Oh, look, I shared that comment. You see it right there? It's on my comment thread on my thing, and that one popped up, but no one else's comments are popping up on there. So that's kind of weird.
That is weird.
Anyways, I got sidetracked. Patrick Mahomes has probably the best game of his life. Mahomes, Kelsey, Hill, they are the heartbeat of this team. They really are. And when it comes down to it, and it's crunch time, they're the ones out there. They're making plays, whether it be, punt returns or kickoff returns, and getting us in good positions, or saying screw what the route says, and I'm just going to run my own route and finding the open space in the field. They've got it.
So that's a funny story. I don't know if you saw that or not, but Kelsey was like, "Hey, they're opening up in the middle," and he even told Tyreek. He said, "Hey, they're opening up." Well, he told Patrick. He said, "If I see the middle open, I'm not going my route. I'm going to go and I'll let you know." And Pat saw it, and Pat yelled it out in the cadence. He was like, "Do it." And then Kelsey went up the middle and he got him, man. So, kind of like what you talked about being the heartbeat of this team. For the past 4 years, or for the past 3 years, we're looking at 4 straight AFC championships. The constant on this offense has been Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey.
First time in NFL history, by the way.
So, and not a TMI, but or maybe a little bit of TMI. Right after the game, I stopped by the men's restroom, and with all of us in there at the urinals, I said, boys, let me ask you something, man. 4 straight AFC championships. Does that make this a dynasty? I mean, are we there yet? Because I'm looking at this and I'm breaking this down in my head as we're leaving the game, and I'm thinking Patrick Mahomes, sophomore season, his actual first starting season, he wins MVP and he takes the Chiefs to the AFC Championship. The Chiefs are a handprint away from going to a Super Bowl. Then the next season, the Chiefs go to Miami, go to the Super Bowl, win. The season after that, the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl, play Tampa, lose. And then this season, here we are, fourth straight AFC Championship. And I don't want to say that I wrote Mahomes off in the middle of the season, but I had a lot of question marks in my head. Hey, is this Mahomes dipping off? Did we just sign Mahomes to this big, huge contract? And God forbid, now we're stuck in this big contract and he's dipped. We've gotten the most out of him.
Yeah, that was my worry. Did we already see him peak?
Yeah.
3 years in, did we see him peak? And now he's just – I made the comparison a lot to Cam Newton.
Yeah.
You know, where Cam Newton took the league by storm and then just kind of fizzled out.
Yeah. And so that was a big frustrating thought in my mind. And the past couple of weeks, I thought, okay, we're getting Patrick Mahomes back, and this is perfect because we're getting playoff Pat. And when it came out, when he did it against the Steelers, everybody was like, well, it's the Steelers. And that kind of brings me to my next point. Obviously I spend a lot of time on TikTok. I've spent a lot of time on Facebook and whatnot. And one of the things that has kind of grinded my gears, man, has been the talk amongst the NFL community on the internet has been that the Bills defense didn't do enough in the last 2 minutes of the game. That the Bills defense really let Josh Allen down. And that the Bills defense let Josh Allen down in overtime. And that Patrick Mahomes won the coin toss. And that's why he won the game. And like I said, man, that kind of grinds my gears because it's like, hey, put some respect on that man's name. I mean, it was like we just talked about with the Travis. It was like we talked about with the Travis Kelce thing. Kelce read the defense. Kelce told Pat, that wasn't the defense. That was Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Like, let's not.
If we want to be real, that was Travis Kelce. It was Travis Kelce the whole drive. That last 13 seconds, Patrick Mahomes made the play. But who was that we said? They said they're going to flip the ball out to Travis or to Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce went down there and threw those blocks.
Yeah.
And then he runs an incredible route, leans on the cornerback on that seam route until the linebacker bites to the inside and then cuts it back down the seam, and they're wide open. I mean, that was Travis Kelce.
Yeah, and let's not let's not take anything away from that. Travis Kelce has experience. A lot of people don't know this. Travis Kelce is the same age as Rob Gronkowski, and he's played. It's not even a question. I'm not going to say because I'm a Chiefs fan. Travis Kelce's twice the tight end that Rob Gronkowski is, and they're the same age. And all this talk of Rob Gronkowski retiring and all that stuff. And Travis Kelce's still playing like he's on his third year in the league. So, it grinded my gears. I haven't said much on the, I try to keep a low profile on as far as the internet community goes for football. Because I'm trying not to get banned for 30 days for talking smack. But man, it's just. When I see that, a lot of Bills fans, not even Bills fans, just fans that are bitter in general going, well, the Buffalo's defense really let Josh Allen down. They couldn't stop a cold. No, they couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes. Let's stop this disrespect, because nobody could stop Patrick Mahomes in the last 2 minutes of that game.
When Mahomes is clicking on all cylinders and it's the offensive thing, you're not stopping him.
Yeah.
You better be able to score more than 30 points to even be in contention.
Exactly.
And I know that's a lot of the Bills fans. They're hurt. They played. They had a great season. They have a great squad, and they had high expectations. And they're building their team to compete with Kansas City. Everything they do is to beat Kansas City.
Yeah.
And so that they're hurt. I've been there. I've had many of heartbreaks. Following football. If by some chance you're watching the show, whatever, be real with yourself for a quick second. It was a great game on both sides. Patrick Mahomes had a great game. Josh Allen had a great game, and it came down to who got the ball last.
Yeah.
And then we all kind of thought it was going to be.
Well, and So, and like I mentioned, a lot of that wasn't Bills fans. A lot of it was just it's really weird because we've never been on this side of the table as Chiefs fans. I hear a lot of people that are quote unquote sick of seeing the Chiefs in the championship game, and that's weird to me because 10 years ago.
How can you get sick of that?
What? I follow this former cheerleader, Bridget Case, on Twitch. She does a lot of NFL content and whatnot, and she's a Chargers fan. And her and there's just a bunch of people out there on the internet football community that are like, yo, hey, we're sick of seeing Patrick Mahomes. We're done. We want to see something else. And so it's weird to kind of be that. I don't want to compare us. I mean, because obviously they did what they did in New England, but it's weird to have people kind of look at the Chiefs now as we did New England 10 years ago. Like, hey, we're sick of seeing New England in the game. Like, do somebody else. And now that's us. And that's kind of weird.
Well, what people need to understand is before Patrick Mahomes, there was 50 years of garbage football. I mean, we had a couple good years here and there. So, quite frankly, we don't give a fuck if you're sick of it. I mean, we don't care. Us as Chiefs fans, we're gonna keep loving it. We don't give a flying hoot nanny if you're sick of it. It's just what it is. Because we went through it, and and if the Bengals ever get to that point, or the Browns, or the Detroit Lions, the Bears, they ever get to this point, they'll understand it. The Bills, I know they've been struggling for a long time. Hey, when you reach that mountaintop, you'll understand.
Well, and what I would tell everybody is get used to it. Get used to seeing Patrick Mahomes doing game-winning drives. Get used to Patrick Mahomes. Get used to Brady Mahomes popping champagne bottles. Get used to Jackson Mahomes doing TikToks when Patrick Mahomes wins games. Get used to it because it's here to stay, and I don't care. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and hey, it's like to bring up Cam Newton again. Hey man, if you don't like my touchdown celebration, stop me from getting in the end zone.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, stop us.
Yeah.
I would have never been this cocky and this confident at the beginning of the season.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm okay with playing the villain. That's cool to me, man. All my favorite characters are villains. So if the Chiefs are the new villains, I'm okay with that. Bring it on all day long.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of mentioned it a couple times. Mahomes, it just refuses to lose. Okay, so fourth quarter specifically, we go down, we score. Okay, I'm really upset with it. I wouldn't say really upset, but Andy Reid's play calling kind of made me kind of grinding my gears again. Not to go back to the same expression, but that's what it did. Tyreek Hill gets this kickoff return, right? We get down to the 25-yard line, and we're running this triple option with Blake Bell under quarterback. What the are we doing? Mahomes is dealing. Why are you taking the ball out of Mahomes' hands to put it in Blake Bell's? I can see Travis Kelce. I can see it. But Blake Bell, Everyone, we knew he was running the ball. He's not throwing the ball. You know, it was just and that was a huge opportunity for the Kansas City Chiefs to take a 2-possession lead. And so the play call is a little bit questionable. Now, the thing about trick plays is that if they work, they're brilliant. If they don't work, it's like, what were you thinking?
Yeah, of course.
So now we're in this situation, but I can't imagine, you know, Andy Reid sitting in his office drawing this play up and putting Blake Bell under center and going, oh yeah, this is the one. This is that's gonna get him. I don't see it. So I don't know what he was thinking there. But other than that, Mahomes just refuses to lose, like I was saying. Bills go score. There's like a minute left, or there's like 2 minutes left in the game. We go score real quick. It was like a minute 56 actually, but we go score. Tyreek Hill takes it down, throws up the deuces, which I'm sure he'll get fined for.
Yeah, absolutely. There was actually a lot of talk. A lot of people were upset that he wasn't flagged for taunting.
Yeah, and I've heard people come in and be like, and it's even made national media and whatnot. He should have been flagged, and they still gave him the touchdown. If he gets flagged, he's still going to get the touchdown. Those yards are not going to be applied until after the kick, or until the kickoff. It's going to be applied onto the kickoff. So we'll be either 15 yards back or, they'll decline it, one of the two. But it's not going to affect the touchdown. Still touchdown. So, or maybe it's applied on the PAT. They'll have that option too. With the way Butker was kicking, maybe they choose to do that.
Yeah.
Who knows? It is a little dumb on Tyreek's part. He's been fined for it before. He's been flagged for it before. I know he's having fun. Man, you're in a shoot. You don't give them any kind of advantage.
Yeah, that was my consensus on it. Don't give them any more fuel than what we're in a crucial spot in the game. Don't give them a reason to throw a flag. So got lucky and worked out in our favor. And those last 13 seconds are just. You're muted, guy.
Yeah, I seen it. Like I said, Mahomes just refused to lose, and it happened the second to the last drive. It happened the drive when we tied it up. Whether it be with his arms, with his legs, he was running all over the place. He was making plays left and right. That's something I didn't look at. Patrick Mahomes rushing had 69 yards. 7 rushes, 69 yards, and a TD. That's crazy. Just like Josh Allen had 68. You don't see that from quarterbacks.
No.
It's just both of these guys, it was such an incredible game to watch. Both these guys just took matters into their own hands and found ways to get it done back and forth. It's just, I'll remember this game for the rest of my life. And we were there.
Yeah.
We were there. It was a great experience.
To give so much credit, to Josh Allen, and I talked earlier about the Chiefs embracing like the bad guy role, and to contradict myself about that, when we were leaving the game, so many Bills fans were like, man, that was such a great game. Like we all were in agreement. It was a great game. And one of the guys that we stopped and we were talking to, we were walking with, we mentioned to him, how this is, or he mentioned to us, how this is the next Brady Manning feud and how this isn't going to be the last time that we see, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in a big playoff game. There's going to be plenty more to come in the years. And, just
be on the winning side every time.
Yeah. And to speak,
as long as it happens in the playoffs, that's all I care about.
Yeah, exactly. And to speak about how well Josh Allen played and how much heart Josh Allen played with, after the game was over, Mahomes went and hugged Kelsey, and celebrated with Kelsey, and it was a very short celebration because Mahomes darted full sprint down the field to find Josh Allen. He threw his helmet halfway through the sprint, met Josh Allen, embraced him in a big hug, congratulating him, letting him know that he played his ass off. And I thought that was really awesome. That spoke volumes about who our quarterback is. That that's my quarterback that ran down there and let Josh Allen know, hey, like you busted your ass, great game. You'll be here again. And it took a lot of notice from Chiefs Kingdom. One of the pages we follow, Chiefs Kingdom Memes, shared a picture on their Facebook page for their followers to make a donation to Josh Allen's foundation. That his charity of sorts. He supports a local children's hospital in Buffalo, and Chiefs Kingdom Memes asked their followers to make a $13 donation in honor of the 13-second drive. And I think, and I think before we started the show, the children's hospital announced that they were at $80,000 in donations from Chiefs Kingdom, donating, whether it was $13 or however much they Chiefs Kingdom did. But just the atmosphere in that game and how it was, like I said, made jokes about us playing the villains. But man, Chiefs Kingdom read nothing but great stories from Bills fans about the atmosphere at Arrowhead and their experience at Arrowhead. And then the conversation that you and I had with some members of Bills Mafia walking out. And then just to see that story come to fruition, yesterday and today from Chiefs Kingdom Memes about, the $13 donations. I just think that it says a lot about that football community.
Yeah, and you're right. We had a couple conversations with some Bills fans. Man, I was shaking hands. It was mutual respect all the way around with everyone in the stadium. And then $80,000 in just a matter of a couple of days. Most of those are probably going to be just $13 increments. I'm sure there's somebody that threw in $500 or however much because they can, and that's great. But think about that. I mean, $13 increments, $40,000 in $13 increments. That's a ton of donations.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely amazing. And to your point about Mahomes going down to talk to Josh Allen after the game, he did that. It's already a class act in itself, but he stopped his celebration. He passed a couple of his teammates on the way to Josh Allen who tried to address him, and he said, no, I'll be back, and made a beeline straight to Josh Allen. I actually grabbed the video of it. I'm going to show it real quick. So yeah, I mean, class act, and you're right. It makes you proud to be able to go, hey, that's my quarterback. We've got a class act leading this organization And the same goes with Josh Allen. I mean, they've got a bright future in front of them as well. So yeah, that's a little feel good situation there. The charity, the children's hospital, and everyone doing what they need to be doing. That's good to see some good in the world. So it looks like Hardman has really started to solidify a role on this team. I wonder if Noah's on. Noah, are you on, buddy? Are you on?
I wish he was, man. I'd tell Noah, hey, I don't know what's changed in the past few weeks, Noah, but it looks like McCole Hardman learned how to run some routes.
And I almost see a similar role between McCole Hardman and Jerick McKinnon, with the difference that McCole Hardman's a little bit better than Jerick McKinnon at running routes, and Jerick McKinnon's a little bit better at getting handoffs and running the ball and hitting gaps and being decisive, things that come with the running back. But they're doing the same thing. We're getting them the ball. McCole Hardman had his first ever rushing touchdown in the NFL. So that was cool, but they're handing him the ball off. They're throwing it out to him in space, in the flat, screen games. They're using them almost the same exact way. They just have different strengths. So, I mean, it's just kind of good to see Hardman kind of settling down into a role.
Yeah.
And trying to find that identity.
Yeah, he needs to find, he needs it to find his spot on this team. And I'm happy for him. I think he's still part of this team. As far as Jerick McKinnon goes, McKinnon, I definitely agree with you. The only thing I would say,
I'm going to take that dub.
Yeah,
I am.
Rob, is that a serious question?
I'm going to take that dub. Come on, brother.
13 seconds. We call that Mahomes magic, my friend.
I know some dragsters that don't even run that fast.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott and the Cowboys had 14 seconds. They couldn't even finish one play.
That's what Shannon Sharp told. That's what Shannon Sharp told Skip Bayless. But
don't ever count them out. I'll tell you that.
I'm glad that Jerick McKinnon, has continued to prove that he belongs. Who I want to talk about, because Jerick McKinnon proved last week that he belonged. Who proved they belong this week? That a part of a lot of Chiefs Facebook groups and a lot of online. I shared, CR Media shared a story when it broke that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was good to go, was expected to play. And man, I can't tell you how many members of Chiefs Kingdom came on there and said, "Who the hell cares? Don't play him. Get him out of here. We don't want him." I'll tell you what, I want that. I want number 25 that played Sunday. That's who I want. You all may not want him, but I want him. I want number 25 playing every Sunday that the Chiefs play, because number 25. It was pretty productive. So, hats off to Jerick McKinnon. Like I said, he ate last week. He got his earnings last week. This weekend, it was about Clyde Edwards-Helaire proving that he has a place on this team, as he should. And hopefully proving to other members of Chiefs Kingdom that he belongs on this team.
Yeah. 7 carries, 60 yards, 8.6 yards a carry for Clyde. Yep. I mean, just absolutely killing the game. He was decisive. He was quick. He was not playing around north and south. north and south was the only directions he was moving. This entire podcast needs to be about fixing the defense. You know, we did a good old portion about fixing the defense, and I could do a whole podcast about fixing the defense. That wouldn't be positive. And we just made it to our 4th consecutive AFC championship game. So, you know, we're going to go ahead and keep the little positive vibes going on.
Yeah.
We know what the opposite is doing.
The season's still going strong, Rob. We're not talking about fixing anything like the Dolphins are. You know, we'll talk about fixing stuff when the off season starts. Right now, we're worried about winning a Lamar Hunt Trophy.
Heard that. Heard that. Bull. All right. Yeah, Jerick McKinnon proves that he belongs for sure. He already did that. Clyde looks fresh. Looks crisp. Shots fired. This offense, they look like other than the 2 Raiders games and the Pittsburgh game, we haven't really seen it. And now we come in here, and the talk was, look, we lost to the Bengals, we lost to the Bills, you know, we lost to the Ravens, or not the Ravens, but the Titans. And, you know, like all these playoffs teams we lost to.
Yeah.
And you know, here we are. This is not the same team as week 5.
I said that, you know, I said that in my picks video that I did on Friday, that, you know, that a lot of people didn't understand. Yes, these were the same 11 guys on the field. Yes, they had the same names and numbers on the jerseys, but these were not the guys. This was not the offense that the Bills played in week 5. Nowhere near the same guys. These were a cohesive unit. You know, the offensive line, what was it, 3 sacks they allowed this game?
I think it was just 2.
2?
Yeah, I might be
2
wrong,
sacks.
but
2 sacks against the number 1 defense in the AFC. I'll take it, man. You know, this offense was just the past couple weeks has been nowhere near what they were when the Bills played us in week 5.
Yeah, and you know, we already talked about the defense. You know, like I said, I named Steve Spags the defensive MVP for a reason. You know, it's been a complete turnaround. Rob says all the teams that beat them did not let flash run all over the field without 2 people on them. Just saying, you know, speed kills, brother. I mean, it does.
We got a saying here in Kansas City, Rob. That's what speed do.
That's what speed do. So yeah, you nailed it. O-line allows 2 sacks on the night, and they're just creating. And it seems like every week we have a different guy that we're talking about in the backfield. It's Clyde. It's Jared. It's Derek Gore. It's Darren Williams. It's whoever is back there.
Yep.
You know, and it's because of this offensive line, and mainly the interior offensive line. Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, and Trey Smith. But those outside guys, they're doing all right too. You know, they're getting the job done, especially, you know, the situation we are in at our right tackle position. We're on our 3rd string right tackle. You know, Lucas Nyang, it was out. You know, he was deemed out a couple weeks ago. And so who was it? I think it was Andrew Wiley in there.
Yeah.
He did a fairly good job, you know, and so, but it's the job that they're doing in the run game that's you know, getting me fired up, because I think they're doing phenomenal. And I've said for a long time, if we can get the run game going, if we don't have to run it 30 times, but if we can just get it going, it'll open everything up, you know, as far as these teams playing Kansas City in a cover 2 shell. You know, they'll get out of that real quick. So, I seen Donnie had mentioned something earlier about the overtime rule, and a lot of Bills fans are upset with the overtime rule. And if you're not a Bills fan and you're upset with the overtime rule, I understand. You know, it's not very fair. If you are a Bills fan and you're upset with the overtime rule, get over it. Get over it. Because, bro, like, we proposed a rule when we lost in overtime, when the same thing happened to us and our fans, you know, in overtime, and Tom Brady, we just took the ball and scored. We never had a chance. It was the same exact thing against Tom Brady and the Patriots. And we tried to change it then. The owners, including your owner of the Buffalo Bills, voted against it. There was a chance to change it, and you guys didn't take that chance, and now it's biting you in the butt. Get over it. I mean, that's not why you lost. I know it's upsetting, but
so here's my issue with it. In 1974, the NFL implemented the sudden death rule.
Yeah.
From 1974 to 2010 or 2011, because remember, it was the Vikings and the Saints. The Vikings and the Saints in the NFC Championship. Everybody was mad because Brett Favre never got to touch the field. So they threw a big, huge fit, and then they implemented the rule of if you go down and kick a field goal, it's no longer sudden death. The other team will get an opportunity. So for almost 50 years, it was sudden death. And now all of a sudden, there's teams that have an issue with it. Yes, I know the Chiefs did, and that's fine. But, you know, like you were saying, the Chiefs offered the league, hey, this should be changed 3 years ago. And the league said not enough owners got behind it to warrant a vote. So that nothing ever became of it. And now here we are again with Buffalo. And now, you know, like Rob says, Vegas is upset with the overtime. Okay, that's fine. But Vegas should have been upset with the overtime when, 20 years ago. Vegas should have been upset with the overtime rule 30 years ago. Sudden death was implemented almost 50 years ago, 1974. My brother, my brother, who's 15 years older than me, was born in 1974. Prior to 1974, only championship games or playoff games had sudden death overtime. So 1974 to 2010, 2019, nobody squawked a damn word about sudden death, and now all of a sudden, well, it's not fair. We need to change it. Okay, fine, change it, but let's not act like this was something that was just implemented 10 years ago.
It's not a bad rule that just went wrong.
Yeah,
it's been around for a while.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of talk about Roger Goodell not doing anything about it. Listen, this is prime. Roger Goodell was probably in elementary school when they implemented sudden death. So how is this? I get the idea around it. I just don't understand the uproar about it. Like this is something new. It's been the rule for 50 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you could change it to a more optimal situation.
College.
I kind of like that. My idea
if you want to make it ideal, there's only one way to do it. You do it the way college does it. Each team takes a spot on the field, gets an opportunity to score. then the next team, you either can score the same points or you can score more. That gives it whatever. That's fine. But if you're not going to do it that way, then what's the way to do it? Are we gonna play a full quarter of football and let it be decided that way?
Yeah. I don't
see another productive way to do it.
In the regular season, I could see this whole sudden death, the situation we got now. If you score a touchdown, it's over, because in the regular season you can't end in a tie, and you want to try to prevent that. But in the postseason, when there's so much on the line, I think no matter what, both teams need to have the ball at least once. If we go score a touchdown and then they get the ball and they score a touchdown, then from that point, sudden death. I would like in the postseason, and I think both teams do need to, and I say get over it to the Bills fans or whatever.
Because all 31 teams, all their fans told us to get over it in 2019 when Patrick Mahomes didn't get to touch the field in overtime. We were told to get over it. You should have beat. Yeah, we were told that you should have beat Tom Brady in regulation. You shouldn't have let Tom Brady go to overtime. Okay, don't let Patrick Mahomes go to overtime. I'm not sympathetic here.
Yeah, not in this situation. You're not going to get any sympathy from any Chiefs fan that's been around for the past 5 years. That we all went through it.
And this is what I hope. Here's a hot take for you. We can clip this. I hope that the Buffalo Bills, the organization, takes it to the league, and 31 teams don't get interested and it doesn't go to vote. That's what I hope.
Did y'all stop the Bills? No.
We beat them.
I was at the game.
Yeah.
I was at the game, but I wasn't on the field.
Well, we beat them.
I'm not that skilled. There's a reason why I'm behind the microphone.
Yeah.
I played football. I wasn't that skilled.
Rob, I can't let this beautiful face get clobbered by one of their defensive players, man. I can't go out there and stop them. Could you imagine Josh Allen running over this beautiful face?
Yeah, we end up looking like that guy, that random fan that was running out there. He's not doing that.
Stephon Diggs knocked him so hard he knocked his eyes straight.
Hey, Rob, how many teams did y'all stop? How many teams did you stop, Mr. I play offense? Last to touch the ball wins. That's right. That's what I said. And at the moment, we 0-0 versus the Bills is what Donnie says. And I wanted Joe Burrow. I want revenge. This is a little revenge game. So, yeah, that's my take on the overtime rule. It sucks. I agree. It needs to be changed. Not many. Yeah, it does need to be changed. There needs to be something better, at least for postseason play.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it should end like that. Fortunately for us, it worked in our favor this time. But
yeah, in all seriousness, yes, the rule needs to change. But getting all 32 team owners on the same page, or at least getting the majority of them to bring it to a vote, it was difficult 3 years ago. Who knows? Maybe this past game, with so much being on the line, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I'll tell you what, it would have made for great TV. And Rob made that's what TV and cable contracts are for. 120 million viewers. It'll make for great TV if they change the overtime rule.
Rob is hating tonight. What is his deal? Rob, why are you being such a hater, brother? Jesus, he says revenge equals Chase for 15 receptions, 247, and 4 or 5 TDs. I'm going to tell you right now, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
I'll tell you what, Rob, if Jamar Chase scores 4 or 5 TDs, then Tyreek Hill will score 6.
Heard that. Rob, I'm still waiting on that autograph too, brother. Hit me up in that email. Hey, so Andy Reid decisions, I kind of already touched base on that. You know, I didn't like the whole Blake Bell thing. Overall, this was an amazing game. I know there wasn't much defense, especially in the last quarter. It was a little slow to begin with, but
and there was amazing games all weekend, man. You know, and this one just you know, put the cherry on top. You know, and I went back and watched it because I thought maybe this game was really great because I was there. But I went back and watched it, man, and it is just as good watching it on TV as it was being there.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't say that, but the game was just as good as I saw, you know, there.
I tell you what, bro. If Jamar Chase scores 5 touchdowns, I will do the next show topless. No, that shit's not gonna happen.
I'll tell you what. You'd rather Jaymes do the show topless than me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But yeah.
So we got AFC Championship game, 49ers and Rams. I know I don't want to go too much into this because we got plans to do maybe a little 20-30 minute segment later on to do our actual picks, but so I don't want to go too far into it into this too much detail. 49ers and Rams, who you got?
I'm sticking with the Rams, man. I love Sean McVay. You know, I think he's a stellar coach, and you know, as we've talked about in the past on this podcast, man. Matthew Stafford. I'm a big fan of Matthew Stafford because I love seeing players that have the talent get away from crappy organizations and go flourish somewhere else. And Matthew Stafford is the perfect example of that. To get away from that horrible organization in Detroit, to go be with Sean McVay in Los Angeles playing for the Rams. And he's got a great defense, a stellar defense. Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. You know, I would love to see them pull it off against San Francisco. San Francisco shocked me against Green Bay. I did not expect San Francisco to go into Green Bay and put Aaron Rodgers down like they did. But I'm hoping that this game in Los Angeles is in favor of the Rams. Also, just to kind of throw a little bit more out there, because you know we got plenty of time. Did you see the controversial story about the Rams limiting ticket sales to people only with Los Angeles zip codes?
Really?
Yeah, they sent a release out when the tickets went on sale for the NFC Championship. They made a statement that they were only allowing sales to people who had Los Angeles zip code. and then they faced so much backlash about it that they came back and reverted it.
Yeah, they're trying to cut out San Francisco fans.
Yeah, and you know what? And so here was my thought process on it to kind of sway away from that bad press. They could have said, well, we didn't want a bunch of people, from San Francisco coming to our stadium because of COVID exposure. They straight up just reverted it. I was like, kind of a bad look, guys.
Yeah. But, and Rob says it's the home team's prerogative. And it's kind of like a restaurant, man. Like a restaurant has the right to reserve service to anyone or to refuse service to anyone. Like, they don't have to give you a reason. They don't have to tell you why or anything like that. They just say, hey, we're not going to serve you.
Yeah. You get up, pack your shit, and leave.
Yeah, and so it's kind of the same thing. The restaurants have the right to be able to do that. Well, I understand. Like, from my understanding, it's your business and your thing. You can sell till you want to. It doesn't necessarily look good, but I mean, I guess they want to win. They want to win, so they're willing to take it to that measure. I also have the Rams. I think I'd like to see a rematch of the 49ers, just to, beat them again. Just to, show them it wasn't a fluke the first time. But, and I don't know.
I told you about how Kyle Shanahan, likes to run his mouth about holding, and he's done it on multiple occasions where he's ran his mouth about how holding wasn't called enough during Super Bowl 54. And it's like, so yes, I agree. I'd love to play San Francisco again in the Super Bowl, just to shut them up.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think they got too much firepower over there. And Aaron Donald, Von Miller, they've got a fucking killer secondary. Eric Weddle, who's been fresh, he comes out.
I've played 2 years.
Yeah. So,
he came out, man, and he doesn't look like he missed a beat.
Yeah, and it's what it is, man. I guess when you know it, like at the level he knows it at, you know what I'm saying? It's like riding a bicycle, I guess. I don't know. I haven't been there, but glad
I can't ride a bicycle either.
Doesn't usually work out that way. Glad to see it work out. I same like you. I'm a big Matthew Stafford fan. I'm glad to see him get out of Detroit and then actually get an opportunity to show what he can do. What he's really capable of doing. And so that's cool. I like the Rams over the Niners. I know the Niners are this little Cinderella story, and I said it last week that they would be done in by the Packers. That didn't happen. But it ends this week. It can't go on forever. It ends this week.
Well, so before we obviously talk about the AFC Championship, because spoiler alert, I think everybody knows who we're going to predict wins that game. If the Rams win, you do realize that the Rams will have home field advantage in the Super Bowl.
That'll be 2 years in a row.
Yep.
It'll be 2 years in a row that there has been home field advantage in the Super Bowl, and it had never happened before.
So, and I'm looking at the comments here, and Rob is bringing up Trey Lance. I don't see Trey Lance coming into this game unless Jimmy G is not able to go.
Yeah,
I think that
he might come in for a couple of plays, that are designed specifically for Trey Lance, but they're not gonna put Trey Lance in over Jimmy G for consistency issues. Jimmy's gotten you to this point. You stick with. I mean, I think you have to stick with him. Did he look good against the Packers? No, not really. He didn't look good at all.
You know what? What I've seen from the Niners in the season is they don't think that Trey Lance is ready. So the NFC Championship, like I said, unless they have to go with Trey Lance, the NFC Championship is not a good time to decide if he's ready or not. So, like I said, I can see Trey Lance coming in if Jimmy G gets injured. And you know what? If Von Miller and Aaron Donald, if they eat, and they put Jimmy G on his back a lot, you could see Trey Lance come in because of him, because of injury. God forbid, don't want to see Jimmy G get injured, but like I said, that pass rush has their way, man. They're gonna put Jimmy G on his back a lot. So, you could see Trey Lance come in and I just, like I said, I don't think that I don't think he's ready either.
AFC Championship, Kansas City versus Cincinnati. In Kansas City for the fourth time in a row. Who wins this game?
Not even a question. It's not even a question.
And I don't even think it's going to be close.
I do. I think they've got a good team over there, man. They've earned their spot. You're not going to see Jamar Chase do what he did last game. If so, then Spagnuolo's got to go. If they let Jamar Chase do the same thing he did last game, Spags has got to go. He's got to. There's no reason why.
I didn't know what Rob's drinking on tonight. Rob, what are you drinking on tonight, buddy? He's on one. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just catching up on some of the comments.
I see him. I see him, man. And he's cracking me up tonight, man. He's something else tonight.
I love it. Oh, Donnie says each week the Chiefs games have the highest ratings since the last Super Bowl, and that's true. It's the most entertaining, man. Like Bills and Chiefs. Why wouldn't you? If you're a football fan, why wouldn't you want to watch it?
Yeah, and
the Eagles.
Well, and I know that. I know the Pittsburgh game got pretty high ratings, but I think the Pittsburgh game got high ratings because everybody knew it was Ben's last game. But I don't see this game being any different than Sunday's game. I think the Chiefs come out. I think Cincinnati comes out firing as well. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Like I said, I don't see the defense letting Jamar Chase do the same thing to them. Like I said, if that's the case, then I'm all for gathering up with other members of Chiefs Kingdom and paying for a blimp to fly a banner that says "Fire Spagnuolo." I'll go get a cashier's check right now to help pay for that. But Chiefs, and like you said, we'll break down these two games a little bit more in detail, and we'll give scores. Last time when I did my score predictions, You guys can go watch the YouTube videos. I did the times of the game. I did the Vegas spread. ESPN has something called the FPI. It's a percentage of what they think team's going to win, and then I'll give my idea, and then I'll give a bold prediction. I plan on doing the same thing with Jaymes. We'll break down the game. We'll give the Vegas spread. We'll read an expert pick, whether it's ESPN's or some other expert. Then we'll give our predictions, and I'll give a bold take. So,
yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. So, any final thoughts before we get out of here tonight, bud? Oh, by the way, I'm taking Kansas City. If you didn't know, I don't think that.
Yeah, I wasn't even gonna.
Yeah. I'm taking Kansas City on my idea. I don't think Jamar Chase is gonna be near as productive. We see what we did with Stephon Diggs and Dawson Knox, and when we prioritize those guys. I think Steve Spagnuolo has a little bit of a respect issue for rookies. He didn't respect Jamar Chase, and he didn't respect Joe Burrow. That last game, they blitzed like 48% of those plays, and just kept throwing the house at him and those kids, they stepped up. They did a good job last game. I think that they've earned that respect, and it's going to be a little bit different this time.
Yeah.
We're not going to see that single man coverage with Tarvarius Ward on Jamar Chase over and over and over again.
And just just for the few people watching right now, I'm gonna let you know, Chase of CR Media gets real stupid when the Chiefs win an AFC championship. I talk a lot of smack, so I'll be here same time Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central. I'm gonna talk a lot of shit on Tuesday. I promise you guys, I'll be here. So there's one thing you can count on me for, and that's to talk shit.
All right, man. Well, I think that's going to be it. One last thing before we get out of here. You guys see the little banner underneath me. It says SuperDraft Pro. Look, I understand that a lot of fantasy football leagues are already done. Winners have been decided. Basketball's in season. If you like fantasy sports in general, just go check it out. Basketball's in season. Baseball's right around the corner. Hockey, golf, racing. It's got it all. And it's just as cheap as just $20 for a subscription. It's super, super simple. Go click the link in the description. If you love fantasy football or fantasy sports in general, I guarantee you're going to love SuperDraft Pro. All right, my man. I think we're going to go ahead and get out of here. If you guys haven't already and you're catching it, if you're still here with us, I appreciate you. We love you guys ever so much. If you're catching this show at a later date and you're just catching the recording, don't forget to hit that like button, that share button, subscribe button, and the follow button. That way you never miss any episodes of Jaymes Howell's Chiefs Talk. For my legendary co-host, see, I need it underneath, not to the Chase. My name is Jaymes Howell, and as always, stay legendary, guys. And you know what, Chase? I don't have the outro video, so